During meditation, during meditation, I felt that it's nice to talk about stilling thoughts and getting into deep meditation. That's kind of what came to mind. I hope that's going to be okay. So, we have just come to the end of our 3 month rains retreat, which went kind of like a flash. It was quite a lovely time here, good weather, nice people, and also a beautiful place, especially as the spring came in during the last month. Um, we have really been spending a lot of time outdoors. We went many times into the nearby national park, which is only a 10-minute drive, and or we can also walk there. And we had many meditations on top of rocks next to waterfalls. We were meditating at a sunrise or sunset or moonrise at starlight. It was delightful. So we really enjoyed the last month when it was much warmer and not raining as much because as some of you may know, Southern Highlands, it's quite cold and raining quite a lot. So when we had good weather, we really went for it and also in a nice way. So we meditated outdoors. Kind of really nice. It's actually why the Buddha says, whenever he talks about deep meditation, he always suggests for us to go into, Aranyagatoa, Rukkamulagatoa, Sunyagaragatoa means going to a forest, to a foot of a tree, or to an empty hut. And these places actually are conducive. It's amazing, just sit on top of a rock. They are the most comfortable things. When we try to sit in the meditation hall, it's amazing how many cushions people want, and we still can't find it comfortable. Yet you just walk into the national park without anything, find a rock, and you just sit, and you feel so comfortable. And there is something very stilling. It's not silent. There is always sounds of birds, sounds of wind, little insects, all kinds of little things are there, but they are not disturbing. Somehow there is some kind of sense of silence, something very beautiful and conducive to really go within or even stay aware and be with the nature, just to become one with it. And as that process is happening, you gently let go of the mind and its thinking processes. Instead, you become aware of what is going on right here, right now, in the sense with sensations, yeah, what you can feel, touch, that kind of thing, more awareness, being aware in a very broad, kind of open sense, not attaching to anything particular, but also not completely, shutting anything down, accepting things, just being there and allowing your mind to gradually sink into that stillness and allowing yourself to become peaceful. Since we have been talking about supports for meditation, sometimes it is important also to really find an inspiring place, an inspiring time, and also an inspiring way to do your meditation. So, whatever object that you pick up, there are plenty of things that you can use to make your mind one-pointed. This is the idea of samadhi, right? The meditation is instead of mind running around everywhere, allowing it to become still right here based on just one object, whatever it is. But whatever object that we are going to use, it is really important that we have a very good, positive relationship with it. So I often remember something that Ajahn Brahm brings up from time to time. 4 very important things to develop good meditation, and that is pakandati, pasidati, santitati, vimucchati. Pakandati means that you are able to dive into your meditation object easily and be with it quite easily in a natural and a beautiful way. The way to understand this more with a worldly simile is like when you are with your best friend. That if you are going to spend some time with your best friend, do you have to prepare early, have a lot of mindfulness to really stay with them, to stay focused? Is it stressful? Is it difficult? Nothing like that, right? You're very at ease. You are relaxed. You are happy. You are also alert. And time just goes by. You don't even realize. Sometimes when you catch up with your best friend, it's 2 or 3 a.m. sometimes when you end, right? Being with them. Why is that? Because you enjoy, you are inspired, you have trust, being at ease, you have a very good relationship, you have very good memory, you have seen good qualities in them. So, kind of all of those things. So, imagine, that those are the kind of similar things that we have to develop around whichever object that we are going to take up as our meditation. If it is our breath or touch sensations, whether it is loving kindness, anything, whatever thing that you feel like you want to use for your meditation, we have to have a very positive, friendly, gentle, nice, soft relationship with it. Then we are able to stay with that object and be with it easily. For many people, because they have gone into breath meditation far too quickly, because breath is quite a subtle thing. So sometimes people try to do breath meditation straight away, but they use quite a lot of force, quite a lot of will in trying to do that. But that is not sustainable in the long term. And you feel tired. There are people who come and say, they get a headache, they feel stressed, they feel tired after meditation. That is because they have been exerting too much will to try to watch the breath. The thing is, breath is something quite subtle, and you need quite a degree of mindfulness. So we need to do like walking meditation or some other reflections, or prepare our mind gently into present moment awareness before we can be with the breath. But why I'm talking like this is to say that many people have made bad relationship with breath just because they haven't put in the right causes and conditions. And because of that, breath meditation may have been difficult. And when we have that kind of experiences with that relationship, then it is difficult. So we feel a certain, stress or anxiety or difficulty trying to do breath meditation, or we try to put in more will or effort. So this is where if we have this kind of, mixed relationship with our meditation object, it is important to find out ways to again rebuild a good relationship. So preparation, yeah. Find a time of the day that you are already naturally restful, that you naturally have good energy in your mind and body. So find a good time for you to meditate. Even if it is short, that's okay. Don't have to stretch it to a long meditation. Short, but good quality is a good start. And then what do you do beforehand, right? So make your body at ease. If you need to have a shower, you can do so. If you need to have a cup of tea, you can do so. Even if you needed to have a nap before, do so. So preparations are good because you're going to now rebuild the good and put the right kind of conducive conditions so you can have a better experience. Even you can do a bit of walking meditation or just go for a walk in the nature. Very, very beautiful. And even try and sit in a place that is natural, yeah, under a tree, in a park, next to a lake or a river, on top of a rock, if you can find such a thing. It's nice, yeah. This is building up a good relationship with our meditation object. So it takes a bit of time and effort to arrange things. This is just to at the beginning, right? So when you do that and you gently, again, you enter the meditation very gently, very gradually, just sitting there, relaxing, becoming aware of the natural environment, state of your body, state of your mind, accepting, doing like this, and then allowing gently, if it is breath meditation, breath to arise. Rather than you go and get the breath, you wait until breath manifests by itself and stays with you at ease. And also don't struggle to stay long, don't put a time limit, just for however long you can be at ease. So have a positive relationship, so positive experience. So however long that you enjoy being with your breath and you become peaceful and restful, even if it is only a few minutes, that gives a very good positive impression, positive reinforcement in your mind. Then you are more encouraged to do that kind of meditation again. So you can repeat these kinds of steps again until you can meditate a bit longer. And as you build up this kind of real positive experience with your meditation object, then you start to get confidence, both confidence in yourself to be able to meditate, also confidence in the meditation object to be able to make you still. So that is, so from Pakandati, you're going to Pasidati. Pasidati is that faith and confidence in your meditation object and your ability to meditate. So when you put in the right kind of courses, right kind of things in place, what you experience is meditation. In meditation is like the result of it. Because when you sit, pretty much not much to do. It's all what went before is what is important. So on top of what I have said before, you can also use some kind of nice teaching. You can listen to an inspiring Dhamma talk to incline your mind, even a short guided meditation. All of these things are very helpful way to incline your mind. And building up that positive relationship, and when you get that confidence, then it is easy. You are able to stay with that object longer. So the third step is santitati. Yeah? Pakandati, pasidati, santitati means that you are able to stay at ease for a long period of time, quite still at ease. So that is when the meditation starts to really take off. But taking your time to build up that good relationship, then building up that confidence in yourself and in your meditation object is the key to be able to stay long term. So when you stay with the breath for a longer period of time, the fourth step is vimucchati. Yeah, so the mind is then liberated, in the sense liberated from the hindrances. The hindrances starts to subside and mind become very, very still and at ease. So, in order to get there, some of the other things that we mentioned before is also, what came to my mind is bringing sense of urgency. Yeah, because time is very precious. Time is very little for each one of us, whether we are old, whether we are young, whether we are healthy, or whether we are sick. We all know our death can happen anytime. We can fall quite unwell anytime. A war can break at any time. So many other difficulties can come up anytime. We remember how quickly that COVID came and took over the whole world, right? It took only hours and days. So, like that, when we see like that, we realize, yeah, it is important to make that time to stop, to meditate, to become still, instead of giving importance to planning, arranging, constantly in the future, yeah, constantly in the future or constantly in the past, thinking about what should have happened, what could have happened, what we would have done, or regrets and remorse, or just enjoying just, any of the sensual fantasies, whatever it is, past and future, both of those things are of no benefit right now. Past has gone behind. We can't revive it. We can't change it. All we can do is learn from it and grow from there. That's all. Apart from that, it is quite a waste of time. Future hasn't arrived yet, right? It is yet to come. And our death might happen before. So it can be a waste of time to worry and plan too much. You can have some ideas, some plans, some things in place, but not to spend overly much going again and again, over and over again about these things. Because time is really precious. Right here, right now is all we have. This is the only reality. Everything else is finished. Past is like just a dream now. Future is just also a fantasy. Whatever we think it's going to be is always going to be otherwise. We know this from our own experience, not exactly how we think, how we expect things to be. So remembering like this, it is really helpful, these ways of inclining our mind also to bring our mind to stillness. With that, I just love this beautiful verse which I bring up from time to time, again and again. This is this ideal solitude, right? So it is from Majjhima Nikaya. Let me just read those really beautiful verses. So, let one not trace back the past or yearn for the future yet to come. That which is past is left behind. Unattained is the yet to come. But that which is present, he discerns within sight as and when it comes. The immovable, the non-irritable, in that state should the wise one grow. Today itself should one bestir. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? For no bargain can we strike with death, who has his mighty hosts. But one who dwells thus ardently, by day, by night, untiringly, him the tranquil sage has called the ideal lover of solitude. It's really, really beautiful, this idea of solitude and inclining the mind towards solitude. I remember the first talk when we started the Rains Retreat 2025. Also, I remember giving a talk about solitude. And it is also very appropriate as we come to the end of the retreat period or the Rains residence period to still continue on that same theme as practitioners. Being with solitude, inclining our mind towards solitude whenever possible, if possible, at all times, even, right? At all opportunities is really important. Giving priority to solitude, to mind and body, becoming still. It's a delightful state, does not cost really any money, not much effort either. It's just a little skill that you develop over a period of time and learning how to stop and be. And also, I just was reflecting on a talk that I heard from Ajahn Brahm, quite an old talk, where he was talking about the time that he thought he got enlightened. And that was a day, rather the night before. He has been meditating quite deeply because he has quite good meditation. Even as a young monk, he had quite good deep meditation. And that particular day or that particular evening, as he was meditating, he got to the point where he saw how the thoughts were conditioned, where the thoughts were coming from, how do they arise, the starting point. Right? It's fascinating to get in touch with this. Sometimes tracing back, reflecting back with a powerful mind, when the mind is very still, when the mindfulness is very powerful, it's easy. It's not that hard to see, trace back your thoughts. And you can see how they're conditioned. It's just quite an empty process, just these stuffs, what went before, things you saw, things you heard, whatever it is, all of these, what things you thought about, this is the most difficult, all of those things, how they then come and condition our thoughts in the present moment. When he saw that conditioned nature and where the thoughts were coming, he felt quite disgusted. Like it is just nothing real. And it's just you are like a slave of these things that went before. And they come and trouble you, right? They just arise and disturbs and take you for a ride, take you away from this very precious present moment, very precious opportunity to have insights. Yeah, thoughts get in the way of insights, and difficulties come as a result. Yeah, and how often we have been peaceful and then we start following a certain thought in a certain way and end up feeling really, really angry or really, really sad or really, really anxious or with lots of desires come up. See how easily we are taken for a ride by these things. Yet all of those things are conditioned by what we have allowed in, what we have taken on board willingly, right? We take these things on board. And then when those emotions come up, then we don't want them, or we get into trouble by following them, acting with anger, acting with desire. We all know what that's like, and how many times we have got into trouble, and how many times our meditation has been disturbed by them. So therefore, it's really, really important what we do. So, for example, when people get together, the way that in general we are used to showing our affection is by asking, so how are you, how is your family, what have you been up to, who, how is so and what have they been doing, all these kinds of conversations. This is just general pattern. But if you think about it, quite a lot of unnecessary information, right? It doesn't really help anybody or anything in most occasions. There are times that can be productive and skillful and is the right thing to do. But very many times when we have these kinds of conversations, they are only leading to restlessness in the mind. This is just an example, right? So if you hang around with restless people, and then you also end up listening to these things and allow your mind to also get disturbed. And then what happens when you try to meditate, right? So this is where we understand restraint, yeah, restraint of the mind, restraint of your hearing. So even if you're stuck in a situation, how to deal with it, yeah, when you are in a car maybe, and two people are having this kind of really silly conversation and you have to hear because you can't shut your ears, right? So you have to have quite a degree of, if you don't have good meditation beforehand, if your mind was still enough, then even those things come, they slide off like water on a lotus leaf. But if you didn't, then those things actually penetrate through and affects you. So it is rather dangerous. So this is why, if you want to build up mindfulness and avoid restlessness, then not associating restless people is important. This is just an example. So like this, for all of these qualities, like if you want, then you have to also take care of these aspects. Yeah. So what you read, what you scroll through on your phone, news, yeah, all of these things, be careful. Because if you want to incline your mind to stillness, you can't also do this by doing the direct opposite. What disturbs the mind, what takes your mind away from the present, right? So that's really important. So when you are reflecting, into the thoughts, current thoughts, and how they came, you realize still these things are just conditioned and they're really kind of very unsubstantial, transient, empty processes, yet it affects us. So for Ajahn Brahm, he said when he saw that, and this was with really sharp mindfulness and seeing even the very subtle ways of them coming, he had complete disenchantment towards all thoughts. With that, like the mind turned away, this is called nibbida, yeah? The mind's interest for thoughts dropped. Isn't that nice? If that happened to us, and that also shows us why we have thoughts is we are keen. As much as we want to get rid of them, somehow we have a very, you know, and beneath that, we have craving for that. We want that. We hold on to that, which is why those thoughts are there. Somehow we think it is important, it is enjoyable, or something like this. We've given value to it. But once how you see the conditioned nature of them, when the disenchantment arose, the mind turns away and all the thoughts drop and the mind becomes completely empty of thought. And just the idea of mind being empty of all this thinking is delightful, isn't it? For a moment, just even imagine a mind being freed from thought. So this is what happened to Ajahn Brahm, he said. And then his meditation went really, really deep because now no more thoughts. Mind is very still and gone really, really deep. And he had few insights and things as well as a result. So the following morning, he thought, oh, he's fully enlightened. So some of you may have heard this story, but for the sake of others who haven't heard it, so this is when in the morning when they were having, lunchtime, the lunch, usually they used to eat mostly rice and frog or rice and rotten fish curry. This is what in northeastern Thailand people offered them. There was nothing much else to eat. So not very exciting or good kind of food, just rice. Or you had the option of just eating rice or rice with frog or rotten fish curry. So that particular day, somebody has also offered a pork curry, which was a bit more decent than this rotten fish curry. So Ajahn Brahm thought, oh, the Devas have realized he's got enlightened and offered this really something, at least, I mean, not that he likes it, but at least it's better than rotten fish, right? So what happened next was the abbot served himself 3 large ladles full of pork curry with rice. And after that, he poured the entire pork curry into the rotten fish curry and mixed it all up, saying it's all the same, it's all the same, and then passed it down. At that, Ajahn Brahm really lost it. It's so good, fine for you to serve the nice things yourself and then mix it all up and send us this kind of very disgusting kind of thing. And when that kind of mindset arose, he realized he's not enlightened yet. And he said that it was such a disappointment. Thoughts came and all of these defilements starts to come in. So he says this in a joke kind of way. But anyway, the whole point is, you can see even those things, how conditioned, our cravings, our desires coming in through habits, the kind of food we like to eat, the kind of food we can't eat, and all these things again cause problems, cause wavering in our mind. So we have to just, gently, gently understand and see all of these disturbances and see and find ways. How can we settle them? How can we make peace with them? How can we change our habits? And listen slowly, slowly our desires, because these things are coming with habits. Habits are very strong. So seeing their danger, seeing their conditioned nature, seeing their conditioned nature. And when you start to really see with quite powerful mindfulness, this conditionality of things, especially what we call as sankharas. Sankharas are volition or conditioned things, then the mind can have nibbida, because these things, all what they bring is nothing but suffering. That's the thing. Craving promises us so much, but delivers very little. But what it really brings is a lot of disappointment and difficulty. It is important for us to see this, really face it, and it needs some courage, because sometimes these are the very things we find comforting, and we think we need these things to stay well, to stay happy. But again, face it and really see the reality. Is that what is really bringing you comfort and peace and joy? Or is that something else? Is contentment when the mind stops, when the mind is happy with whatever is here instead of craving for something else? Isn't that much better, much fulfilling, much more comforting? So we have to slowly, let the mind to learn something different from before, which is not quite satisfactory, not substantial. Instead, we start to see, another way of being, another way of arriving at peace, something much more substantial, insightful, liberating, like freeing. So this is important to do, not just only, sit, watch the breath get up and go, but rather spend some time to reflect back and see how things develop. And learning from mistakes is really, really helpful as well. So these are a few ways of inclining the mind in the right direction towards peace, towards seclusion, and to the present moment, arriving at the present moment. And also in this verse we read, not to hold on to the present also, right? So not holding on to the pleasant experience and wanting it back again and again, then again we have the problem of desire coming up. Instead, we discern with insight even what is present is conditioned, a reason, yeah, paticca samuppanna, yeah, causes and conditions. Based on causes and conditions is what is present. So based on a meditation object, let's say your breath, and giving attention to your breath and keeping your attention there with mindfulness is how you arrived at peace. And that's all there is. As long as that attention is there and is maintained, one pointedness of your mind is maintained, you experience bliss. But once that contact ends, then that bliss also ends. So like this, so this is that discerning, yeah, and there is then seeing, all of that experience is also a bunch of these 5 aggregates, yeah, the aggregate of form there, the feeling that was present, the perceptions that were there, the volition and the intention, the conditioned nature of things, how we have created, the consciousness. So just seeing all of these things coming together. Last week we spoke about those in the Chandamulaka Sutta, like team players or controlling faculties in operation at time of experience. Again, here we can see the 5 aggregates, yeah, just being there, just empty processes. That's all there is, run by conditions. So when we start to see these things, especially with strong mindfulness, that is when the mind really turns away from empty things. Yeah, empty in the sense, empty of a sense of self, what belongs to a self, anything that is out of our control. There is nothing that we can control and hold on to. Everything is transient, insubstantial, passes away. So seeing like this, we can really become very aloof, really coming into seclusion, really the mind turning away from all of those things and becoming really, really peaceful, really, really liberated and powerful. So sometimes the best kind of support for meditation is also to listening to something inspiring about seclusion or meditation, a beautiful sutta, and that inspiration inclines your mind. And that's all you need. The rest, you have all the information. And the mind really gets into meditation quite easily. So from time to time, it's nice to also have, just simple Dhamma talks, just based on meditation and how the meditation develops. So this is what I wish to offer for the Dhamma talk. It's a relatively short Dhamma talk.